When causeway rivals clash with territories to conquer, the tension in the air is palpable. This is the 29th Southeast Asian Games on a humid night in Kuala Lumpur, and the heat is going to be turned up a couple of notches here at the Shah Alam Stadium as Malaysia lock horns with Singapore. A win for the Young Tigers and the semi-final lights will be illuminated. A win for Singapore and that semi's quest would still be in their hands. There have, though, been 3 draws in the past 4 meetings between these two sides, and if there's going to be a 4th in the 5th, the Young Lions will need favours from Malaysia's next opponents to qualify for the last 4. So much at stake for these under-22 boys who walk into the cauldron for their baptism of fire of a causeway derby. This is the first time Malaysia have met Singapore in the group stages of the SEA Games on home soil, and only their second meeting in Kuala Lumpur after the 1989 final, which Malaysia won by 3-1. It was a final known as the Lim Tiong Kim final. Despite Fandi Ahmad getting Singapore's only goal of that game, the Lions went down in their quest for the elusive football goal medal. This is Singapore's 25th attempt at football goal, and Fandi's son Irfan leads the teams out for the team in red against a Malaysian side who are touted as one of the favourites to go all the way into the final of these tournaments. Fandi Ahmad, by the way, spotted in the crowd tonight, so he is here to relish this opportunity. Both coaches have sounded the caution cavalry. Both have also been riding on the same thread of their strikers taking chances. So it does set up for a game that could swing in extremes. It does set up for a fantastic match that could just turn sour in a minute, or just come out and surprise with a bunch of goals to whichever team that'll be buzzing this Wednesday evening.
Ladies and gentlemen, please stand up for the national anthem of Singapore. Tuan-tuan dan puan-puan, pada hari ini yang dihormati, diminta berdiri bagi menghormati lagu kebangsaan Singapura. Mari kita raya Singapura sama-sama menuju
Malaysia unbeaten in group games against Singapore since this was turned into an under-23 competition back in 2001, and you feel they have a couple more gears to access from their 2-1 win against Brunei 2 days ago. Singapore's last game against Malaysia was a 2-1 win in Myanmar for the Bronze. They went limp against the Burmese this time out in their opening match, but they have to take heart from their second half display, which showed a lot more fervor. Vo Minh Tin is the referee from Vietnam, so he gets all set and ready to get this game underway in what is a very changed Malaysian lineup against a Singapore lineup that sees only 2 changes. 2-1 against Brunei. It's not the score that a lot of people expected. 2-0 against Myanmar showed signs of the Lions actually coming forward and showing some bite up front as we have a look at Ong Kim Swee. This will be his 20th SEA Games match in charge in his 4th consecutive SEA Games. He's also the 20th Malaysian coach, a 2020 night for OKS, and he's hoping, of course, that at 2020 translates visionary-wise to his midfielders tonight, which is an all-change central midfield lineup for him. The crowd are trying to get involved as much as possible and trying to make this a frosty atmosphere for the young Lions. Irfan Fandi, can he make up for his dad's defeat to Malaysia 3-1 on the night itself in the 1989 final with a victory in this match? That'll go a long, long way, of course, to getting Singapore's chances back on again. 2 changes to the Singapore lineup that they make in their loss against Myanmar, and the 2 changes include Amiruddin Ashraf coming in, and also Mohelmi Suhaimi, who takes the place of Joshua Pereira. Mohelmi takes the place of Haikal Paishia up front. There is the Singapore bench, which includes Adam Swandi, not risked yet again for this match, as he recovers from ankle ligament damage sustained while on club duty for Home United against Ceres exactly a week ago today. Well, that is that same chance which was so prevalent during the Youth Olympic Games in 2010. A couple of the players are featured there. Rishad Tardy is Singapore's 15th coach at the SEA Games, and he's looking for his first ever SEA Games victory. Malaysia make 6 changes to the squad that lost out against, that beats Brunei, I should say, by 2-1. The 3 centre-backs, though, Adib Zainuddin, Irfan Zakaria, Adam Noazlin, along with Matthew Davis and Safawi Rashid, are kept in the squad, but the most significant of those changes sees S. Kumaran come back from injury to take the place of Jaffrey Chu up front. Kumaran has scored in his last 2 meetings against Singapore, although in friendly tournaments. There he is, Ong Kim Soo, looking very pensive for the moment, and he has already sounded out the warning to the rest of the nations and the teams that Singapore are a much improved side from what we saw at the AFC Under-23 qualifiers. And the Lions live up to that boast. New goalkeeper as well, Haziq Nazli, coming in to replace Ifwat Akmal in goal. He plays for Johor Darul Taksim in the Malaysian Super League, although he hasn't started a match. So here we go, the 15th meeting in the SEA Games between Singapore and Malaysia. And straight away, the young Lions pump one long into Malaysian territory deep inside their half, hoping that they can start building up from here and preventing any sort of crosses from this man, Matthew Davis, because he's got a wicked right foot which can swing in and cause danger at any given moment. Iksan does well enough to pull the ball right back. So looking for the options there. It was Amiruddin's first touch of the game. Elias doing nothing but just lifting the ball wide up. Malaysia do love to use the flanks as much as possible as Irfan comes, covers and clears. Cautionary tale then for Irfan Fandi. It's a febrile night in Malaysia and a fragile one for Singapore, with the handle with care stickers plastered all over the faces of these young Lions. No hiding ground at the Shah Alam Stadium. And the 15th meeting of these 2 sides, which more often than not ended in draws. In fact, Singapore have drawn games against Malaysia at the SEA Games more than any other team. Ashraf That's a little toe out, and a very good one as well from Hami Shayan, but the tackle that came right in was splendid. The Malaysians are very, very big, consisting of 4 players who actually competed at the last SEA Games. Singapore have got 2 of them, both centre-backs. Irfan Fandi off to a flying start against Brunei. Malaysia scoring a sumptuous goal that day. Well, they need to look at the glass half full in that match against Myanmar. They were pretty limp in the first half, only creating a handful of chances. In fact, just a couple of them as Elias Lee tries to put it down the channels for Amiruddin's chase. It's a hopeful ball more than anything else. Amiruddin tries to make the most out of it. Gets a starting slot today, the Home United striker, ahead of Haikal Paishia. And his first piece of action is just to put that little shove out on Arif Farhan. Haziq Nazli. Let's take the free kick for Malaysia. Look out for the Malaysians playing those balls and trying to make the pitch as wide as possible. That's the reason why this Shah Alam pitch actually suits them perfectly fine, because they love to play those long diagonal balls, looking to get their wing backs running and running riot. They did it in the opening stages against Brunei, but it's a 3-man defense that can be had when the ball's played over the top. So with Iksan Fandi up front, Singapore might just want to exploit that as much as possible. Iksan was very dominant in the air against Myanmar. Irfan's free kick does find a teammate in Mohamed Suhaimi. Mohamed chases after this, which was almost a lost hope. Let's at least put some pressure under Davies for him to take it out and put it outside for a throw to Singapore. Well, we didn't see much Singapore as an attacking force in the first half against Myanmar, and all of a sudden in the second half, it's as if it was a wake-up call from the attacking gods, and they showed up. They would want to take what they did in that second half, and hopefully it cascades in the first 15 minutes of this match. It's the opening shot, which is on target but easily fielded by the goalkeeper. Sharil Sazali. Was that him who took the shot? I believe it was Mohelmi Suhaimi who took that shot straight on at the goalkeeper. Well, they've asked for a free kick. Malaysian crowd. It's not forthcoming. Jafan Rahaizat, who has been first choice for this squad, being trained up from the AFC Under-19s and AFF Under-19 tournaments last time out. They met each other, Malaysia and Singapore, at the AFF Under-19s. In fact, 13 of the players on the pitch played that day in that game, which went Malaysia's favour by 2-1. Adam Noazlin leaves the throw to Arif, one of 5 players who play for Kedah in the Super League. Irfan's been first to the ball ahead of Kumar on every given opportunity. We've seen in the first match already that pace isn't one of the fortes of the Singapore centre-backs, and maybe that's the reason why Kumaran's been preferred to Jafri Firdaus Chu for tonight's game. Rushaidi has got time to come forward, get the ball from Hami Shahin, who wants the ball as much as possible. The thing about the number 14, as diminutive as he may be, he never hides from matches. Rushidi, clever ball to Iksan, who wants support inside the penalty box. Iksan does well to hold up play. Still Iksan Fandi. Well, Adam did enough to shake him off the ball, and Kumaran begs his players to come forward, and here they come with Shamir. Shamir Amirul Hisham had his legs taken out. Free kick Malaysia. Can be very potent on the counter-attack. Here he is, that little tanker Amirul Hisham in the middle of the park. Scored 1 goal in those under-19 AFF championships last year. Matthew Davies given crossing opportunities, but well cut out by Sharul. Does love to bomb for this Australian-born Malaysian right-back. He's one of the reasons why Ong Kim Swee's decided to play 3 at the back, for him to be a lot more adventurous. Oh, the foot was very, very high. The referee spotted it. The Singapore players want Amirul to be booked by the referee, but he's having none of it. It was actually Number 14, Shamir Kutiaba, who came right into Elias Lee, who is on a yellow card. Free kick from Singapore. At least they have coped with the first piece of Malaysian threat, offensive threat. Hong Kim Sui, 20 matches, 4 SEA Games in a row. No other Malaysian coach has come close to that record. Iksan tried to keep that one alive, but you can see the Malaysians have already targeted him as the real target man. Amirul's touch on actually helped out the defense, but helping out his defense was Rushaidi, who came in and intervened at the right time and the perfect time as well. Amin Shahin tried that little channel right through for Iksan. Watching very closely was Irfan Zakaria. And back they come again, the Malaysians with Arif Fahan. The second shot on target for the night, and both have gone straight to the goalkeeper, this time from Safawi Rasid, a player who scored a sumptuous thumping volley in the first match against Brunei, which still being the best goal of the tournament after the first round of matches. He's got a delightful left foot. Well, the plan is pretty clear. After what they saw with Brunei, put it just behind the Malaysian 3 centre-backs for Iksan to run onto. But Iksan does need Hami to play a little closer to him than he did against Myanmar, where they both almost filed divorce papers in that match, just way too far apart from each other. Captain Adib Zainuddin, still Adib, challenge is not coming in, so decides to go on his very own wanderlust into the Singapore half. Adam, yet again, that trademark crossfield pass down the flanks for the Malaysian wing-backs to exploit, and they win a corner out of it. They are a very big side. All 3 centre-backs 1.8 meters and above, Adib, Irfan and Adam, have gone up. Adam scored a goal against Brunei. He is a real menace in the air. So they have to watch Singapore, and this man has got a wicked left foot to do the needful. The cross is a very good one. Irfan misses it. No danger though, and it's completely cleared now. Well, they lost their markers for a while, and they expected Irfan Fandi to come claim this one easily. Instead, he completely lost it and relied heavily on a very good challenge at the end by Shahrul Salzali. He came right back and was very, very attentive. Singapore grateful for that. 10 minutes gone. 0-0 between Singapore and Malaysia. Singapore looking for their 40th ever win in the SEA Games. And that'll be so very important. Their hopes of qualifying for the semi-finals. They're battling hard enough and courageously to win the ball back. Hamish Shahin does the smart thing, which is take the challenge and look at the referee. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. That time he gave the referee the eye even before the referee put whistle to mouth. And Singapore have a free kick to exploit. Hami carved out some sublime crosses the other day against Myanmar. What can he do now against Haziq Nazli, former PDRM goalkeeper, plying his trade in JDT? Irfan's taking some interest in this as well. And we're going to see a Paul driver from the number 17. He is capable of that, you know, Irfan Fandi. And it looks direct enough to have a pot shot at goal, although it would take a stunning effort for that to happen. It is Irfan right into a sea of black. You got to build it all over again. The call came very, very late. And fortuitously, the assistant referee flagged because Hami was caught dwelling on the ball. Was Was that miscomm? Was that him trying to see what he can get away with? Tardy, 67 years of age, against 47-year-old Ong Kim Sui. 20 matches, the SEA Games, 61% win record. He's experienced the highs of 2011. The height of that was attacked by Iksan, but well claimed by the goalkeeper. When you come all the way out that far to the edge of the penalty box, you better claim it, otherwise you're in danger. But, speaking of Ong Kim Sui, he's experienced the highs of the 2011 gold medal, and then 4th place following year, and then out of the group stages last year in 2015. Just the second time that Malaysia have been knocked out of the group stages since it's been turned into an under-23 event. Amirul Hisham skillful enough to just snip himself away from a couple of challenges and then take the challenge for a free kick. So it's Malaysia's turn now to try to make full use of the latest dead ball situation. And behind it is Safawi Rashid. He scored the opening goal of the AFC Under-23 qualifiers. Malaysia went on to top the group. He scored the opening goal for Malaysia at the SEA Games, so they're hoping that that lucky omen cascades down to this competition, which they so desperately want to win on their home soil. They've only won once on their home soil. That was in 1977. Mokhtar Dahari scoring the winning goal in the final that year. Free kick is a very good one, but it was well watched. Had a lot of pace, bend, but not enough elevation to trouble the Singapore defense. Malaysia still keep the ball though with the throw. Safawi. Singapore team claiming for handball, and then the free kick. Referee gives neither way and says it's a corner for Malaysia, much to the delight of the fervent Malaysian supporters here. Well, it was the turf, wasn't it? Good decision by the referee. Safawi has decided to relinquish corner-taking responsibilities for Amirul Hashim. An in-swinger which Singapore have to watch. It's not a very good delivery though. Matthew Davies. So Matthew Davies gets redemption out of that poor delivery with another corner. Malaysia's 4th of the night already, and this time it will be Safawi Rashid to come take this. The 2016 Malaysian Super League Young Player of the Year, taking the corner which was earned by the 2015 Young Player of the Year, Matthew Davies. Very watchful defending, needed to be as well. Safawi trying to just play it into space. Wyman completely misjudged the flight of the ball. Safawi's shot has taken a lucky deflection. Well, it's an instinctive strike at the end. Shami Safari, Selangor player, was a deflection that led to the opening goal they conceded against Myanmar, and it almost happened again for the Young Lions. This time though, back to goal. Waits for the spectacular. Could have actually set it up for Amirul Hisham, was just waiting outside the box to pounce. Irfan, once again another header, one in the air. Amiruddin does likewise and wins the free kick in the process. Singapore, along with that final group game loss to Indonesia in 2015, haven't scored now in 196 minutes of football action at the SEA Games. Will that duck come to an end in this match? You almost feel it has to. It's a very nervous touch by Sharul. It was rescued in the end by Mohelmi. Hami evades just one challenge. Mohaimin. Iksan's finally in the box now, waiting for a decent delivery. doesn't come. Amiruddin does enough to slide it out to Rashidi, but a little too meaty behind that pass, too much sugar behind it. It's going to be a throw for Malaysia. Slowly gaining dominance of this game now, the Malaysians. And Singapore, after burying their fangs in the opening stages of this first half, contented to allow the Malaysians to have possession of the ball and then make sure that they're organized and hard to beat, making sure that those channels are covered for the right and left wingers Amiruddin and Mohaimin. It's going to be a nightmarish night. Hami gets away pretty well. Iksan wants the ball played right now. Hami still hangs on to the ball still. Hami took a deflection in the end, did it all by himself. The goalkeeper covered his near post. That was when Iksan wanted the ball played just inside of it, and they anticipated it to give Hami credit. So he used Iksan as a decoy and went all the way towards goal. It was going out, but the goalkeeper would say he was there to prevent the corner. Kumaran. Still Kumaran. Sliding challenge had to be measured perfectly, and it was from Amirul. Kumaran. Iksan covers, Irfan I should say, covers well enough. Kumaran's dragged outside. Very little players appearing inside the penalty box to meet any sort of delivery. Here is Davies. Oh, he's tried to do one over Mohaimin, so Mohaimin's done likewise. And try to put that medicine right back into Davies. Amiruddin's got to watch this one. He's got to ensure that he defends well enough. Well, somehow it breaks his way. It's going to be a throw for Singapore. So still goalless in the 15th meeting between these two sides. Last time Malaysia beat Singapore at under 23 level. Singapore are unbeaten in 4 against Malaysia. Elias Lee bites and wins. Iksan pitch a little heavy. Ball's just holding up a lot longer for runners like Iksan. Hami can be a real nightmare. Well, Singapore unbeaten in 4 games against Malaysia. The last to remember, a 2-1 victory. 2 Haris Harun goals, winning the bronze medal. It's a very good run forward by Sharul Sazali. It's a neither or sort of cross. Hami Shahin. Now it's a much better delivery. It's a little long though. He's looking for Amiruddin. Tried to knot it across goal foil. Iksan tried that little teardrop of a delivery right inside the penalty box, but it's not working so far in terms of the service for Iksan Fandi. Last time they lost to Malaysia, and the only time they lost to Malaysia at under 21 level, under 23 I should say, this is back in 2003. Rashidi caught napping, indecisive. Malaysians trying to take advantage of it. They have players in the box waiting to feast on any sort of a cross, which never came because the angle was never found by Safawi. 2003, Malaysia beat Singapore by 2-0. In fact, 2003, if you'd like to have a look at it that way, I don't know about you reading signs. 2003 was the last time Singapore failed to score in back-to-back games in a SEA Games tournament, and they started their matches losing 2-0 to Myanmar and then 2-0 to Malaysia. Might this be a case of deja vu, or are we going to see some cubs turn to real lions with a roar tonight? Halfway through this first half, had a couple of chances, a couple of easy saves for the goalkeeper to make. So far, hype of the match a lot bigger than the game itself. Iksan still can't escape the clutches of Irfan Zakaria. They're taking turns, Irfan Zakaria and Adam, to shackle Singapore's main target man. Rashidi Salim, the throw, gets the ball back and looks for the cross for Irfan. Yet again, delivery is not of the highest quality. Referee says play on and gives Rashidi another opportunity to deliver a better cross. Doesn't. I think there will be treatment given to the Singapore player who stayed down. Mohelmi Suhaimi. Two sets of brothers playing in this game. The Fandi brothers and the Suhaimi brothers. And he's taking the place of Joshua Pereira for this match. Mohelmi Suhaimi. Sportingly given back to the Malaysians, who try to build up another attack. At least the Singaporeans have done their homework and done well enough to ensure that Malaysia don't play that long diagonal ball down the flanks. It's a goalkeeper trying it. It's a very poor goal kick. Rudun couldn't hold on to the ball long enough. Amirul, though, is there sweeping diligently. Singapore have committed some players forward. Midfield's just opened up now and allowed Matthew Davis to come forward. This could spell danger. He prefers it with his right foot. That one's cleared easily. And now all of a sudden, numbers in short supply for the Malaysians at the back, but Mirudin just played right into the hands then. Of a very, very experienced Adam Noah Azlin. E2 playing in his second SEA Games, Adam. Scored one at the last SEA Games against Vietnam. And he's already opened his accounts here. Adib to Davies. Back to Adib. Iksan trying to ensure that he defends from the front. Does well enough to win the free kick. After a very poor touch by Amirul Hisham. Well, Ong Kim Sui's got Tanabalan, a top scorer this year in under 23 matches. He says that he is half fit and is good enough for 30 minutes. Might be tempted to bring him on. He's also got the firepower of Shafiq Ahmad and Jaffrey Fidaus Chu on the bench. So they do have tons of options if they need to change up the pace of the game. Because at the moment, Singapore happy enough to allow them to just dally the ball around, play it around, and hope to convert one of these opportunities. Iksan wins another header, but he was always coming towards his own goal. There goes the rampaging wing backs yet again. Safawi played for it, earned it. Free kick Malaysia. Sorted out his feet fast enough. Irfan totally flummoxed by the number 6. So what can Malaysia do with this now? They've had a couple of crosses, dangerous enough, testing enough for the Singapore defenders to break a bead of sweat or two. Aside from a Early save for Jafan Raizat. He hasn't had much to do yet in this game. Are they going for the shot at goal now? Irfan Zakaria, Singapore's number 17, tried his luck and slammed it straight into a wall of Malaysians. What is Malaysia's number 17 going to do with this? Well, they changed the free kick taker. In the end, there was enough dip, there was enough subtlety in it, but not enough power to beat Jafan. Another easy save for the custodian. Well, they can't keep giving away free kicks in this dangerous position. Kumaran's broken the offside trap. It's well covered by Irfan. Was suffering a case of the Z's then, the Singapore backline. And just fell asleep. And Kumaran broke away very much the same way they conceded that second goal against Myanmar. Now they're losing their heads a little bit now, the young Lions. Malaysia sense this might be the perfect time for the opening strike. He needs organization in front of him, and maybe he needs to organize it himself. First thing to do is to erect the wall to block any sort of path towards goal. This man, Safawi Rasid, has got the ability to sneak it in Zafan's left upright, so he's got to watch for that. It's only a two-man wall, so Safawi can take full advantage of this. Or is it going to be a floater in the box where the likes of Adam are waiting for a sumptuous delivery to happen? Matthew Davies, he too another player above 1.8 meters in the penalty box. Aslan watched by Irfan. Safawi does go for goal, and it's very good work by Muhaimin. He stuck to his task. "15 minutes remaining. Still 0-0. Malaysia, though, pressing claims for the opening goal. Yet again, Irfan jumps, mistimed, but Singapore come away with it, and the counter-attack is on now if they take full advantage of this. Muhaimin, though, decides to check, and because of that, Kumaran takes one for the team and holds him down. But there was a real glimmer of hope for the young Lions, because the break was on then and it was almost a 4-on-4 situation. However, the heavy pitch yet again misbehaved and held the ball up long enough for Muhaimin not to be able to open his strides up. And pass behind from Sharul was the right idea, just the execution, he got it all wrong. Great work by Amiruddin. And here is a chance for him to stretch his legs now. Amiruddin Ashraf fell right into the trap. Adam knew exactly what he was doing. Well, that's the benefit of a striker turned defender. Adam Noazlin started off as an attacker. He's now playing more and more at the back line, even for the national side. He is Malaysia's very own version of Irfan Fandi, who's lost the latest battle, that time against Shami Safari. Oh, they've set up camp. And they're renting spaces all over the Singapore defensive third at the moment. Malaysia. Kumaran sets up for a cross, which has to be defended. Amirul does get head to ball. Sharul does splendidly well with a jump. And needed to as well. Sharul Sazali. Two players lurking. Not the best of crosses from Davies, at least according to his high standards. Tackle does come in from Mohaimin. It's getting scrappy here. It'll only suit the Malaysians as Irfan clears first time yet again. And here's the break. What a brilliant takedown that one was by Hami Shayan. This time he does find Iksan. Iksan's shackled off the ball. It's a throw to Singapore. Is the referee going to call this back for a free kick? Because that was a very crude challenge laid out on Hami Shayan. What a take that one was. He absolutely killed it. As if his right foot was filled with beanbags. And then played it in for Iksan. That was his only pass available. And Singapore players wanting the Vietnamese referee to call it back for a free kick. Vo Min Thi, though, says it's a throw. Some respite for the Singapore players. But for how long before the Malaysians come back at them again? It's got to do much better to protect the ball. Sharul in danger of the counter-attack now from the Malaysians. Shamir, ball up to Safawi. It's been kept quiet enough, but we all know he can spark to life at any given minute with his ability and skills. Amirul Hisham, well watched once again, channel cleared by Irfan. It's Iksan trying to take on the whole Malaysian defense all by himself. He doesn't give up. There's no give up in this boy. The referee says it's handball. Was that? Well, at least the assistant referee was pointing to his hand and saying Iksan handled the ball. Let's have a look at it again. There we go. 50-50. You can say that the assistant referee was nearby enough to feel that he did use it to his advantage. Kumaran given time to turn and spot. He did the first part. Completely fluffed up the latter. Well, they've restricted the Malaysians to long pot shots at goal. I think Tadi will be happy enough with his defense, which stood firm against Myanmar for long periods. It's just the incisiveness that they haven't showed up front yet. Iksan almost pilfering, stealing the ball away. Mohaimin, almost a 50-50 pass by Mohamed Sohaimi. Did score a goal against Malaysia in the Dubai Cup. Mohaimin, that was a nasty challenge. It's a combination of a slip and an anxiety to win the ball back after giving it away. I've seen referees give yellow cards for that. He just flew in then, didn't he, Mohaimin? And yet again, another loose ball taken away. Iksan, turn of pace, beaten to it by Irfan Zakaria, who took off first. Here is Adib. Matthew Davies. Sharul does well enough. Simple enough job. Yet again, the communication's almost lacking as Elias Lee is guilty of waiting for the ball to fall to feet and almost gave it away. Mohaimin keeps the attack going for Sharul Sazali. Sharul blocked out by Davies. Tadi is just screaming at the referee and saying, what was that? That wasn't called, but Hami Shayan's won the ball back. Here is Iksan. Amiruddin. Iksan just outside of him. Amiruddin goes by himself. What a goal! Absolutely brilliant. That's the reason why he's been brought into this team. Amiruddin Ashraf silences the Shah Alam with a splendid strike. Legends, Singapore lead Malaysia by a goal to nil. And it's brilliantly taken. Absolutely superb. Everybody thought he was going to play in Iksan. Everybody thought that the route to goal belonged to the number 11. Instead, he's shown us why he's one of the more exciting young players in the S League for Home United. Amiruddin Ashraf put Singapore 1-0 up against Malaysia. Exactly what the doctor ordered. For Rishad Tadi and gang, nothing he could do. Haziq Nazli. It all stemmed from Hami Shahin coming right back and winning the ball in midfield before Iksan found Amiruddin. Irfan. Well, I'm sure he'll be the first to remind his teammates, Irfan Fandi, that it's just as quick that teams can score. We got to watch ourselves and make sure that we maintain that discipline and organization, which has worked so well so far. The two Suhaimi brothers have combined well enough. The space, though, broken down by Malaysia, strangling the Singapore attack by closing down the space so very quickly. Hami, clever enough touch. The referee surely got a book. A Malaysian player then, Shamir Kutiaba. It's actually Amirul Hisham. It's just given a talking to. Hami is still totally winded. Well, after 218 minutes, Singapore finally find a goal in the SEA Games. And Amiruddin Ashraf happens to be the 9th different scorer for Singapore against Malaysia at the SEA Games. The Malaysians have got 17 different scorers, none of them scoring more than a goal against Singapore through the years. Irfan, as Hami trying to make a real nuisance of himself by attacking the ball which he had no right to win. Here's Mohaimi. Still Mohaimi, clipped. Free kick Singapore. Mohamed Suhaimi. Lots of guts. At least there's a sense of fearlessness in this match, which we didn't see against Myanmar, in the way the players are more than willing to keep the ball, run at the defense and open spaces up. So that has returned slightly to the Singapore side. A 2-goal lead, it would seem very undeserved to take to the break, but it'll be great for Singapore if they can take advantage of this. Hami Shahin! Close. Yet again, everybody thought they're going to be aiming at the Fandi brothers. Irfan, Iksan, when charging in, trying to go after that, and Hami Shahin tried to be the cutest player on planet Earth with that little dink, and almost did. Oh, it's exactly what Singapore would have wanted. Malaysian crowd now getting at the back of the Malaysian players with a miscontrol and a misstep or two. This is the period where they have to try to take advantage of it. As much as you don't want to give away silly goals and make yourself tight to protect this lead going into half-time, but if you've got your tails up and you're on the ascendancy, feel that the Malaysians are a little vulnerable for the moment in the back line. Go for it. Kumaran, touch on, which finally found its way to Amirul. Kumaran keeps chasing after this. It's good enough defending by Amirul. Most importantly, didn't allow the ball to bounce and didn't allow Kumaran to continue his run, because if you go stride for stride, Malaysian strikers usually going to beat you with a searing pace. Well, now thoughts abound for Ong Kim Sui. heading to halftime. Iksan with a rare loss in the air. Adam. Crossfield pass yet again. That Malaysian trademark, which we haven't seen a lot of. Give credit to the Singapore boys for preventing it in this match. They live and die by the flanks, don't they? Malaysian Tigers. Easy-headed clearance. Time now to control it in midfield for Samir. Uses Adib Zainuddin as captain. Davies. 1-2 has tried, but yet again Singapore keep themselves and keep their shape. They've made themselves a lot more compact in this game than they did against Myanmar. Especially the wingers, Amiruddin and Mohaimin. They've gone through miles and worked tirelessly, not just as an offensive force and trying to hold the ball up long enough, but also coming back to defend. Amiruddin's trying to feast on that latest free kick. Just easily headed back to goalkeeper from Adam. Irfan Fandi says this is mine, but it isn't. He's got to go tracking back again. Kumaran's ball easily stolen away. Hami Shahin's broken clear of Adib. Still Hami. Iksan's gone into an offside position. He can't deliver the ball now to Iksan. That's the reason why he held it up. However, that pass had to be slipped through. It had to be slipped a lot earlier than that. Chance for the strike. Ball slightly behind. It's a free kick, needlessly given away. He had lost control of the ball. The Singapore defenders were closing down on him. Kumaran. There we go. He'd lost control of the ball, and needlessly, Mohelmi with a belated trip and a chance now for Malaysia from a position which can be had. They conceded around about this time against Myanmar in the opening game, Singapore. They wouldn't want to do it against Malaysia because it truly changes the talks at halftime for both coaches. Adam Noor Azlin and Shamir Rasid, the scorers of the 2 goals in the opening game against Brunei. Now in discussions, debating this direct free kick. Zafan's already been tested once. Is he going to stand up to this now in a more direct position? One's got the rocket. The other one's got the roller. They go for the latter! Crossbar comes to Singapore's rescue, and that will be the final piece of action in the first 45 minutes. A game which really was very much hyped about before the start of it, but it had a muted start and opening exchanges. Couple of saves made by the goalkeeper. Not much as an attacking force from Malaysia or Singapore, but then the first half just came to life after a quite brilliant strike by Amiruddin Ashraf. And then 2 minutes later, Hami Shahin hit the upright, and before halftime, it was Shafiq Safawi Rafiq who hit the crossbar. Singapore take the goal lead into halftime against Malaysia. 1-0 at the break here at the Shah Alam.